All right, y'all, the tea is piping hot. I am not the kind of podcaster that likes doing current events. And it's really hard because they get tons of clicks, they get tons of shares. I know that they will because everybody loves the pageant gossip. But that's just not who I am as a person, and I don't care 99% of the time. But in this particular case, and I will link the article below, it saddens me to my core, especially because I am close with the person that this personally happened to. Fortunately or unfortunately, I knew about this before it happened, before it was public, because she reached out to us and our team and, asked for prayer and advice on what to do. So I'm very personally connected to Robyn in this case. And I just wanted to give a special shout out to Robyn for your bravery and your courage as all this came out. And I hope that doors open for you and that your dreams come true professionally and that what the enemy meant for evil, God will use for good in Jesus' name. And I just prophesy over you that this will open those doors because God fights our battles when crap happens. And I'll never forget Robyn texting us the day before and being like, dude, I'm at the end of my rope. I'm dropping out of Miss Pennsylvania. And we'd been talking for a week or two before that and just, trusted us with, I wouldn't say helping her with the decision because she's a very astute and, like I said, brave, courageous, all the words, extremely strong person. And if you read this article, which I want to be very careful because I don't want to make any allegations, right? However, the proof is in the pudding. So read the article. It will take about 10 minutes to read, but it's super worth it. So let's talk about what happened. So Robyn, who's amazing, got a restraining order, an ASO, against another individual who is also competes in the Miss Pennsylvania organization. And this person had been harassing her, allegedly, right? For 4 years, for an extremely long time, and continued to be allowed to compete in the Miss Pennsylvania organization. And if you read the article, there are even receipts as to this person allegedly harassing some of the teen contestants as well, and asking them absolutely inappropriate questions about their sexual history and throwing tantrums in restaurants because, duh, anybody who would do this kind of crap doesn't know how to emotionally regulate at all. I want to be very careful because there are things that I know too that I don't want to break people's confidence of, obviously. So I'm just going to share what's in the article. And then obviously you guys will see the text messages of absolute death threats. Literally, you can read them, that come from the person on the other end of the phone, right? That is allegedly the person in question, which you guys will see who that is upon reading the article. And the Miss Pennsylvania board did absolutely nothing about it, despite bona fide evidence, absolute threat of physical harm, and what do they call it? Unaliving someone, because this is on YouTube. And I just can't believe this. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm a business owner, and I don't understand, and I am calling people out because this is ridiculous. And the safety of women, like, when crap like this happens, this is why victims don't want to come forward. This is why people that are actually going through things don't feel like they can have a voice. And it ticks me off because when one person cries wolf and isn't right or was lying, then it's super easy. It makes it way easier for the media to point and say, nana, see, it's not as bad as people think it is, right? When like the 99% really bad things are happening and we want to give victims a voice. Now, again, what I admire about Robyn so much is that you meet her, she's not act like a victim. She does not. She's not the kind of person that walks around and is like, oh, poor me. Like, homegirl lost like 100 pounds in the last year. She is a victim advocate, literally certified in these types of things, has gone through her own struggles and triumphs, and loves to give a voice to the voiceless. And isn't somebody that just naturally would like provoke someone for the sake of provoking someone. Like, she's a very kind person. It was super easy to get along with, And I know because she came to one of my events where 25 people from all over the country who had never met her loved her, right? And so again, I'm pacing through this slowly because I'm trying to be very careful with my words on this, but it's just ridiculous. So let's play the other side of the coin for a second. Do we 100 billion trillion % technically know that it is this person in question who may or may not have gotten second runner-up at Miss Pennsylvania this year? Technically, no. However, if you read the text messages, for example, I'm going to use this money for Harvard. Okay, well, let's do process of elimination. Who is going to Harvard in the pageant class, right? Like, that's not hard. Some of the things that they said about who they are as an individual, specific interactions between them and Robyn that only point to conversations that were had with one person. Allegedly. I'm just going to throw the word allegedly in here, right? Turn your brain on, right? And also, I think that when you are a true victim of a circumstance, and I know this having been in a really bad relationship in the past that was highly manipulative and narcissistic, you're already like questioning your thoughts so much just to like survive as a human being, because narcissistic people and people that abuse others emotionally and manipulate constantly get you to question your identity, question your sanity, question your morality, question your ability to think constructively. Because if they can get you to question your own thoughts, choices, actions, then it's a domino effect of what else they can get you to believe, right? And that's how they manipulate. So that's me speaking of my own situation, right? I have to say that. But that's what narcissists do. You know what I mean? Like, that's what manipulative people do, is they disassociate to a place where they're able to hurt people because their pride and their ego is so elevated and yet at the same time so insecure that this disassociation is what enables them to say crazy things and to manipulate. Now, on top of this, and I'm no expert, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not giving mental health advice, any of this, but I'm pretty sure in this scenario, my goodness, if you were giving you-know-what threats to someone's life to the point of, again, whoever is saying these things, because we don't know. And I'd like to think that it's not this person. You know what I mean? Like, I hope not. And that opens a whole other can of worms. Well, if it's not her, then who is it? It's still someone, right? And that person still needs to be put to justice, in my opinion, and to be just reprimanded, at least, you know, for this, because it just, no one deserves to be harassed, right? And the punishment for the crime, right? So anyways, with this specifically, I feel like this is more of like psychopathic or sociopathic behavior, because if you were able to actually wish you know what upon someone, again, I'm screening this for YouTube, wish the culmination of someone else's life, that is, you have to be so far gone in your mind that, again, the disassociation. And if it is this person competing in a pageant to the point of where you can compete to the place of getting in the top 5, smiley, 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 speak, 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 walk, 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 do all these things, and then totally disassociate and say these things about someone, your mind and your heart have to be so soiled, or like the Bible says, your conscience has to be so seared at that point that you need like literally deliverance. So do we know who did it? No. Is the scenario terrible? Yes. Do we need to pray for Robyn regardless? Absolutely. Because this happened to her regardless of who did it to her, right? And did Robyn do everything perfectly? That's not my call at all. But put yourself in her shoes. If you have someone literally bashing your car, trying to break into your freaking apartment, which is in DC, by the way, like a different place than Pennsylvania, saying, if you ever come back to Pennsylvania, I'll insert threat here, and constantly harassing you. I mean, how do you even sleep at night? How do you even like go about your day? Oh, let me just go to work another Monday, right? Like, if somebody was threatening you like that and stalking you, how in the world do you live a normal life? How in the world do you close tabs enough to not live with fear and anxiety every day? Right? And even now, because nothing's resolved. So, I mean, my goodness, if somebody like makes a little bit of a slightly irrational move or whatever, which I'm not saying she did, but like, because your freaking fight or flight mechanism's 24/7. You know what I mean? So anyways, just wanted to let you guys know of kind of what's going on here and to pray for Robyn 100%. And if more comes out on this, I guess we'll all probably know, but the link to the article is below, and we'll have way more uplifting news next week. Unfortunately, these things happen sometimes regardless of whatever industry that you're in. And that's why it's important to be alert and to stand up for yourself and to be an advocate for your own mental health and your well-being. And, you know, I am sure that as Robyn continues on her journey and her purpose, that she will be able to help a ton of people who unfortunately are going through similar things. It kind of reminds me of all the USA stuff that happened a couple years ago, and how my acquaintance, we sat together at a wedding one time. Heather has now made that her mission, you know, who was Miss Montana USA. And I think it's so beautiful how she's set out to help others and use her pain to turn it into a platform. And that's an amazing thing. That's women's empowerment, right? To not become a victim, but to be somebody that's saying, okay, this happened, it sucked, and now how am I going to allow God to get the glory through this circumstance and help other people who are going through the same thing, who don't have a you to advocate for them, right? And that's how a lot of us come up with our platforms in the first place, right? Come up with all of that. So that's it for today, you guys. I don't want to end on a downer, so I'll end on a little bit of an upper. So if you haven't joined our free pageant course yet, then make sure you click the link below as well. And there are 11 or 12 videos that are really great that are actually part of our paid courses that you guys can go through. Make sure that you take action. Don't just join because it's free and then not take action, or else you will not get the result. So make sure that you take action. That is our gift to you. And with that, we'll see you guys next week.